this is going to be questions. Some of them I make up. Some of them are also going to be from a Twitter account that is pretty popular. I did it in my last video as well, so shout out to them. The Twitter account is Answer the Poll. That's the Twitter @ and they ask a bunch of random sort of basketball, even some other sort of sports-related questions on there. So if you like some of these questions, go ahead and check them out on Twitter. Some of them are for them. Some of them I'll make up in my own mind. So let's do a little quick fire one. I'm not going to answer them myself. I just want you to answer them either, I guess, in the comments down below, or even just in your mind, trying to relax, I guess. Pick the better NBA team as of right now. Celtics or the Suns? Ooh, that's pretty nice. Suns or the Nuggets? Nuggets or the Grizzlies? Grizzlies or the Nets? The Nets or the Bucks? The Heat and the 76ers? The Celtics or the 76ers? Maybe if you want to go back and like listen to them again, or you can even pause it if you want a little bit more time to think about them. And if you don't know why I really like this page, it's because a lot of people vote on these, and it's sort of like a NBA Twitter opinion, and a lot of people actually vote on them. Usually a lot of these, I guess, polls get around 1,000. There's one that I'm actually very interested in right now, and it's who's the better team right now, the Celtics or the Suns, and this actually has nearly 1,500 votes, at least as the recording of this video. I kind of want to see NBA Twitter's opinion on this, so at least in my opinion, who I think is a better NBA team right now is, oh man, I think I'd still say the Suns, even though, I mean, obviously with Ayton and Chris Paul, like that's definitely a completely different team than just with like Devin Booker, even just with Devin Booker and Ayton without Chris Paul on that team. That Suns team is just so vastly different. So if it's like a fully healthy Suns and a fully healthy Celtics team, I'm still gonna pick the Suns. And the Suns have 74% of that vote. Holy cow, I thought it'd be way closer than that, because again, the Suns are just sort of coasting to the end of the year, while again the Celtics are, you know, the hottest team in the NBA, like I said, since probably the All-Star break. But again, a fully healthy Phoenix Suns team is vastly different from what we're seeing right now, so it kind of makes sense. There's one here with 1,100 votes. Pick the better NBA player right now, Paul George or Donovan Mitchell. And they probably asked this question because they just played the Clippers and the Jazz. Jazz had, I think, at one point in time, like near like a 15-point lead in that game, and ended up blowing it. And then during an interview, Donovan Mitchell came out and said, like, it's the same old stuff. You know, the Clippers kind of having the Jazz number, the Jazz sort of flopping or throwing away a win, fumbling that. So that was sort of nasty to see, especially Donovan Mitchell talking about his own, you know, team, his own situation like that. Definitely not good for Utah Jazz fans, especially if, you know, Utah sort of has one of those, you know, collapses in the playoffs and they lose in the first round. Yikes. But who's a better player right now? I mean, that was Paul George's first game, and I don't know. I think I will probably still say Donovan Mitchell, just because again he has more sort of. Oh my god. Paul George actually has 84% of that vote. Again, I thought this would be way closer. Again, the question is, who's the better NBA player right now? And like, Paul George is just coming back from an injury. Who knows if he's gonna have any rust on him? He's probably gonna have maybe a couple rough games throughout the rest of the NBA season. Maybe not, though. I don't know. Donovan Mitchell in that loss against the Clippers had 33 points, handful of assists, handful of rebounds. He does it all. He's a pretty good defensive wing. Obviously, Paul George is also that. But again, just coming off an injury, having all this extra time to play, still on a very good team. I would probably say Donovan Mitchell is the better NBA player right now, because again, Paul George is coming back from an injury, so that's why I would say right now, if we're talking about just in general, sure, yeah, Paul George, yeah, he's pretty nice, not gonna lie, but man, 84%, I didn't know it would be that far. Here's kind of a fun random one. Better odds to happen first for Jason Tatum in the future. We have 3 options this time. I think this might be the first 3 option one we've ever had, even in the last or just straight up leaving the Celtics? Oh man, that's tough. I don't know. I think Jason Tatum at least seems to be a pretty like loyal, chill kind of guy. I feel like even if his career doesn't turn out the way it is supposed to, and he doesn't really like have that much success, again, I'll knock on wood. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's definitely one of the younger players that I will see that will probably spend his entire career as their current NBA team. Like Trae Young, I don't know, Luka Doncic, ooh, that's kind of a tough talk to have out of sort of like the young superstars in the NBA. Even with Zion Williamson, of course, he looks like he's almost already out of that organization. He might be the one who's most secure in his spot right now, so that's why I don't really see that one happening. An MVP or a finals appearance, I think an MVP is very realistic. I think it could happen, but then again, like I just named off, in the future, once you know that the now stars of Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Giannis, those guys are a little bit out of their, primes and whatnot. The new class of guys are insanely just as talented, but Zion, Luka, Trae Young, the list goes on and on. Ja Morant, Jason Tatum can do that, but I think probably actually a finals appearance would be the most realistic thing to happen, because the East is still kind of wide open. Like I just said before, the Celtics are on the hottest team in the NBA right now. Who knows, maybe in the next year or two they sort of build this team a little bit better, have a little bit more of a shot. I'll probably say NBA a finals appearance. And that is the right, well, it's not the right answer, but it's the popular answer by 45%. It has that many votes out of 1,500, which is kind of cool. This one could be kind of a quick one. I'm guessing they're quoting someone, and apparently someone said, I don't know who this, person is, I don't know. It's a verified Twitter account though. They quoted, "The Warriors' window of being serious title contenders is closed." Is that true or false? The Warriors' window of being serious title contenders is closed. Again, quick one. Disagree. I think they are still favorites, you could even say. I think they are definitely the topper echelon of basketball teams when you think about title contenders. Yeah, I think that's a bad quote. That's not true. This is kind of like a fun little fantasy question. The question is, which NBA player would you want your favorite team? Would you want on your favorite team right now? Okay, so what player would you want to have on your favorite team right now? 2019, Kawhi Leonard, the Toronto Raptor, Kawhi Leonard, the Finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard, or 2021? I guess that'd be current Giannis Antetokounmpo. Would you rather have Antetokounmpo or 2019 Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard? Well, we've definitely seen Giannis definitely really assert himself as maybe the new front runner for most improved player. What? For MVP, most valuable player. Obviously, coming with big wins against KD and the Nets and Joel Embiid and the 76ers. He's really starting to look like again like finals Giannis that we saw the end of last season. Man, he was just a monster in those finals games against the Suns, and we're looking like we're seeing more shades of that now entering into the playoffs, which is terrifying because again, man, that Bucks team when Giannis is playing like that is almost unstoppable, I feel like. So I think I'd rather have Giannis currently, because again, you could really take either answer. Obviously there's no wrong answers in this probably entire video, but Kawhi, very multi-dimensional. He can really do a lot, but I mean, Giannis can defend. Giannis can defend 1 through 5. Giannis can pretty much play center for you if you want. So I think maybe he has just a little more value because he is just a bigger guy. Doesn't shoot as well as Kawhi, but he can shoot. But being almost a 7'4" said, hey, if you traded Luka Doncic, we'll give you the next first pick for the next 10 years, they probably still wouldn't do it for any of these guys, maybe. But who has the most? Oh my god. I mean, Luka is the youngest guy there. Giannis is maybe the most dominant as of right now. Obviously, again, just saying that because he's, been in the finals, won a championship, 2-time MVP, yada yada yada. Then you have Jokic, crazy how he plays the game, one of a kind player. And then you have Joel Embiid, probably the most dominant player we've seen in the NBA for quite some time. Even you could argue Giannis up there with him, but we're talking about big men. Man, Embiid is on another level when it comes to big men. God, I think it might be Giannis. Just because I also think, again, if we're talking about like a real life scenario or even a 2K sense, Giannis has won a championship with a city already a multiple-time MVP, already a Finals MVP, already stated he wants to be in Milwaukee the rest of his career. I think he said that at one point in time. He's definitely showing that right now with his contract and whatnot. So I think, again, it would just take more to get Milwaukee to trade away Giannis than it would probably for the Mavericks to trade away Luka. And I think those are my two. I think Luka, because again, he's just younger. He puts up triple-double stats, amazing talent, yada yada yada. So he's probably my number 2 guy. I think probably Embiid's the last guy only because of like health and stuff. He's probably also the oldest one on the list, so maybe. But I think Giannis might be the most. He might be the most untouchable player in the NBA, just because, again, what he means to that organization, that franchise. Again, talent, all very similar, but if we're talking team by team, I think it would take a lot more for the Bucks to get rid of Giannis than Giannis to just leave, you know what I mean? Okay, maybe we'll leave off on, maybe I'll do one question, and then I'll do like a final, like, quick fire one, quick fire one, just to leave you off on. Who is the more overrated NBA player? And again, this is not coming from me. Tyrese Halliburton. Yes, Tyrese Halliburton. I know a lot of people are very high on him. Are they too high on him? I don't know, maybe. Or another one, Jordan Poole. That's not my Poole. Who is the more, I don't want to say the most overrated, because I don't really think any of these guys are overrated, but out of the two, who is the more overrated? Jordan Poole or Tyrese Halliburton? That's kind of interesting. Overrated. I mean, I could probably say Tyrese Halliburton, only because I think people are already like expecting him to be like maybe like the new savior, if you want to say, of the Pacers, which I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to be your number 1 option. I don't even know if he could be a number 2 option in the future for the Pacers. I think he's a great piece. I think he can definitely be a part of that building process. Obviously, he might be, the 3rd option, but I don't think he's going to be like one of the guys who's going to like turn the tides for the franchise in the next couple of years. I don't think he's that type of player. And then you look at Jordan Poole. People say, trade Klay Thompson or start Poole over Thompson or this or that or Thompson, and people say Jordan Poole's going to be like the next Steph Curry, and like that's pretty insane. He does put up great numbers. He's a great shooter, but holy cow, that's a lot to ask for in a guy. So like, ooh, both definitely have a lot of high expectations for sure, but I think as of right now, I think maybe Tyrese Halliburton, I would say. I think, again, calling Poole the next Steph Curry is not even like overrating him. That's just like nonsense. So I don't think that really even counts. So I think I'd probably say Tyrese Halliburton. I think the Pacers are still looking for their, number 1 go-to guy. We could find it in this year's upcoming draft, maybe, but I don't think it's Halliburton. At least not in my opinion. And a last sort of little barrage of NBA questions to sort of end the video on. It's a lot of Russell Westbrook talk. Also because Lakers just lost to the Pelicans as I'm recording this video, and holy cow, they might not even make the playoffs this year, but it is what it is. They have a lot of Russell Westbrook talk on here, though. Pick the better NBA player all time. Not of all time, but all time. Russell Westbrook or James Harden? Who do you rank higher, I guess, all time or have all time? That's actually kind of interesting. Ooh. I'm not going to tell you the answers, but there's kind of an interesting poll going on there. We have Russell Westbrook or Kyrie Irving. these ones is that Russell Westbrook only was favorable in any of these polls one time, and it's the Damian Lillard one. Every single other player had more votes than Russell Westbrook, even Kyrie Irving all time. People think he's better all time than Russell Westbrook. That's crazy. I mean, oh my god, like skill-wise, I mean, yeah, of course, yes, but like, if we're talking about just like your career, like who is better all time, like, duh, it's Russell Westbrook, like MVP, triple-double guy. I mean, in his prime, he was amazing, but he just can't do anything now, which sucks, but it's just now he's struggling because, again, he's not, you know, as athletic, didn't really adjust to the new age of NBA shooting game, yada, 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 so, of course, yeah, but like, if we're talking all time, yeah, I mean, Russell Westbrook there, and then James Harden, that's an argument you can have. I mean, they both have MVPs, and yada, 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 and then even with Allen Iverson, that's a conversation you can have, and of course with Damian Lillard, yeah, I'm obviously a placer for him, I'm not dumb, I know Russell Westbrook has had a better career than Damian Lillard, so that's a no-doubt one, but, oh, Kyrie Irving got more votes, and even, you know, he had a lot more votes. James Harden had a lot more votes than Russell Westbrook, even Allen Iverson did, so, pretty crazy. Kind of weird to end off a video like that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video. If you like the video, maybe if you want, comment down below maybe some questions that you want me to answer down below. I'll give them an answer. Maybe other people will answer them with you. Maybe if you just have a fun little one, definitely comment that down below. And yeah, that ends everything. So, thank you so much.